Because I'm not yet good at judging wind, I attached some ribbons to my mast. So as you can see, I am currently going directly into the wind. It doesn't make sense to tack going directly in the wind because it's faster to pedal. So the Hobie, the pedal system works pretty good. One other thing, you could either furl the sail completely, or I recommend getting some bungee cords to hold the cord away from you. Otherwise it's going to be hitting you in the head all the time if you're tall. Sometimes the sail just isn't even worth having it right into the wind. So it turns out, when the wind does finally pick up, this lever here that controls the rudder is really hard on your thumb. My thumb is getting tired now, fighting the wind. But at least I'm moving for once. I might pull this the drive out, but not being used, it's a good idea to strap it in. That brings the pedals all the way up against the hull, giving you a little more speed, less drag. But if you want to have breeze like this for a while, it might make sense to take it out. However, these breezes kind of come and go. Probably because of that storm over there that's headed my way. I don't know if the bow would normally be underwater like it is here. I have a lot of gear stowed in this thing. Up front are my clothes, computer, tent. In the back, I've got almost 5 gallons of water, food there as well. There's additional water underneath me for drinking. Probably some that's not for drinking as well. Even so, it appears like I'm going kind of quick, but according to my GPS, I'm hitting about 7 miles an hour here. If I bring myself right alongside the breeze here, so I'm going parallel with the waves, I'm probably bringing it up around 8. That's about as fast as I've been on this thing so far. So 8 miles an hour sailing. Not exactly going to set a speed record. If you have enough wind to just do pure sailing and you don't need the drive, you can take it out of its slot. And you can see it comes with a plastic plug. Now this thing isn't the most robust thing in the world. Notice that one of the sides that would normally hook in right here, it's actually broken off already. I have taken the drive and I've set it on this piece of foam that I have here, and I have slashed it down with a bungee cord to hold it in place. This thing's pretty tough and it moves you pretty good. It's more efficient than paddles and it uses your legs instead of your arms, which is a plus. However, if you do hit shallows, it will start to rub. It will get in the mud and the weeds. And this paddle here, you can kind of, well, it's hard to tell here, but it's basically bent already a little bit. I don't know if I can bend it back. It still works fine, but it's already taken a little bit of abuse. These seas aren't very rough. It comes and goes. Every once in a while you get a small wave that'll push the boat up and over, but it's very stable. You never feel like you're actually going to flip over or even go sideways. Of course, I haven't been in any really nasty wind yet. The rudder they use to steer is, you steer it using this lever right here, which is sort of a pain in the neck when it gets windy. You can raise it by giving this a good sharp tug, which I'm not going to do because otherwise I'll go flying out of control. And you lower it using this one. However, oh, this was wired. Crap. And it's shallow here, so it's a good idea when it's shallow to let off the tension. When it's shallow, you want to let off the tension on the rudder. In case you ground down onto the dirt, it'll give it the freedom to pop up. Likewise, as you can see, my dagger board just hit ground. If it does, it will bend back. Normally it points straight down, but it is not going to do that right now because it is very shallow here, as you can tell by the waves. And in fact, there's an area coming right up here that I might have to get out and walk on. The dagger board is now bent straight back, so it is basically hugging the hull. The reason for that is I am in about a foot of water. Well, maybe a foot and a half. As you can see, there's not even that much water over there. And actually, if you look all the way over there, there's birds. Because I'm in so much little water, it's hard to steer because the rudder keeps popping up. Because this is looser now, so the rudder can pop up. I'd say anything under a foot, this boat gets kind of hard. It'll float fine, but the rudder starts hitting and gets a little harder to steer. But if the wind's with you and you can keep moving, there are 2 drink holders. This one up front is too small for a sports drink bottle. Kind of lame. You can get a soda in there though. There's one in the back behind the seat that it will fit in. Or you can just shove it back right behind the seat into this cargo area. However, by setting it upright, you get less salt water up around the top of the bottle, which makes whatever you're drinking taste better. Stuff. Verbalizing thoughts is hard. The sail on this Hobie comes with telltales. Now, there's a little window there. Originally it came with a string that would always flip around and get stuck on that yellow strip there. It just stuck right to it. So it was pretty useless. I tied ribbons to it. Now the goal of the telltale is basically, as you can see, to keep the ribbon flapping within the window. If I let the sail out too much, now look at that. Well, the wind's not right, so the telltale's flapping over there. If I bring it in too much, we'll get something similar, although in this case it's not quite right. But we want to let it out just enough so that we can pick up all the wind that we can without losing our telltale. At least me, not knowing anything about sailing, that's how I interpret it. And of course, there goes our breeze. That's not the telltale, that's this funky wind. See this? This is what an ocean looks like that has no wind. You know how much use a sail is when you have absolutely no wind? Not very useful. And I'm getting really tired of pedaling. But I still need to make it to that island there. Well, it's a peninsula. I should get there before dark. I hope. When you end up in something really nasty, you can furl the sail. There's not as much out, so you just roll it up a little bit more. The wind doesn't just have its way with you. You know, I should really rehearse what I'm going to say before I say it. I actually have both trampolines, and they're both attached to the outriggers. However, I keep the right one rolled up. So I don't really have a use for it, and it makes getting in and out of the kayak a lot easier. When that thing is attached to the back here, that means I have to climb over that and then get into the water. In deep water, you can pretty much just get underneath that thing, get up to the side, and push yourself right over into this boat. The boat won't tip over when you do that. One advantage of having the tarp trampolines up, it keeps the water from splashing on you. When tacking into a good wind, the right outrigger, this thing here, stays clearly above the water. The left outrigger goes down, but it won't go under. For all things considered, this is still pretty stable. But then again, there's a storm coming, so who knows what else will happen. And if you're riding into a storm and you get snagged on an oyster bed, this is what it looks like. Just be sure to wear sandals or something, because they will cut your feet through it. So it turns out that when tacking, which I am doing now, this thing doesn't turn very well. I've got the rudder hoisted all the way to the left, so I should be jerking around to the left, and I'm going straight. Not real convenient, although I don't really need to go left. I'm just pointing that out. I had the same trouble going right earlier. Seems like the only time I get a decent breeze out here is when there's a legitimate fear of getting struck by lightning. When the wind isn't going to agree with your plans for the day, you can always just take the mast off, roll it up, and just chop her down. Gives you that much less drag when you're fighting straight into a wind.